Hi everybody, I'm going to show you how to use this Kindle device that we got from our school. If you're having trouble using it, I'm hoping this video will help you figure out how to use this device. First things first, we're going to show you the power button, and it's on this end of the Kindle. It's going to be on the right side. It's a big long button. You're going to push and hold it, and you'll see it come on with the Amazon symbol. On this end of the Kindle, there's also the volume control. On this side, there's the headphone jack, and this is where you plug it in to charge it. The charging plug only goes in one direction, so make sure that you're putting it in the right way. You kind of have to shimmy the plug a little bit to make it get in there properly all the way to be charging it. And this button on this end is not only the power button, but it's also the wake and sleep button, so that when your device is on and awake, you can push it and it will make it sleep, and you can push it again and it'll make it wake. On this screen, this is considered the lock screen. You see a little lock tab down here. You're going to push and hold it and slide it up to unlock the screen. And you'll see this is the home screen. On this home screen, there's a couple things you want to consider right away. You want to hook up to internet. And so I'm going to hook up this device to internet. There is a pull down menu right here. If I can get it to work for me. Sometimes you can tap it. Sometimes you can slide it. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. Oh, there it comes. As you can see, I get to struggle with the device too sometimes. Oh goodness, there it comes. This screen will give you access to the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth. You can put this device in airplane mode. It also has the setting control right here. There's also access to the camera. Now, you can access the camera on this device. However, due to the parental locks on this device, we don't have access to the photos. So once you take a picture, you won't really be able to access the photo. However, if you're using an app that requires a camera, or you can use the camera to play a game, it will work for that app. So on here, you can use the Wi-Fi button to turn on the Wi-Fi and have internet. I'm going to hook to Haley's phone, and I'm going to type in her password really quick. And I'm going to show you something on this keyboard, that you have the letters keyboard, and then down here, if you press this button, you have the numbers and symbols part of the keyboard, and then you press the letter part again, and then you have the letters part again, and the arrow up is to capitalize letters. So I entered the password. I'm going to connect, and now I'm connected to her Wi-Fi. And when you're in screens like this circle key at the bottom will take you right back to the home screen. This is considered the back button key, and it'll go back to the page previous. This square key will open up all of the screens that you have open. The apps that you may all have open will open, and you can close apps from that screen. So you can either choose this button to go back to the home screen, or I'm going to choose this button to go back to the home screen. And again, you can use this drop-down menu, or if you also want to easily access the settings and not have to deal with this menu at the top, there's a settings button right here. And that's what we're going to talk about next. In the settings area, you can find your access to the internet. You can also connect Bluetooth devices such as headphones or maybe even a printer. In this apps and notifications area, you can turn on and off notifications. I've basically turned off all the notifications on this device, because you'll notice on your lock screen, you'll have notifications come up. You'll notice on your home screen, you'll have notifications come up. I find those to be annoying sometimes, so I've turned them all off. There's no notifications on this app or on this device anymore. Also, the next thing you're going to have to worry about in settings is the display. You can choose to do that blue shade mode, which changes the color of the screen. You can choose to make this device go to sleep for a longer period of time. Maybe 1 minute is too quick. You want it to be on for 5 minutes before it goes to sleep. It will wear out your battery the longer you have it on without letting it go to sleep when nobody's using it. Just keep that in mind. In the advanced section, this is one thing I think is important, because you can change the font size It's defaulted at this size. However, your child might find it very effective to read things at a bigger font size. So if you would like to change that, you can. I technically like this size pretty well for myself, so I'm going to keep it like that. And I'm using the back buttons to go back to the main settings page. And then I'm also going to look at the sound area. In the sounds, you see this is the main volume. This is the alarm volume if you have any alarms going on this. And the notifications volume, you'll notice this thing does have a lot of notifications. And if you don't want that volume very high, you can set it lower. Also, down here, this is all the locking sounds. This device makes a lot of clicking and locking and notification sounds. If you want all of those off, like I have them, you may turn them all off here. I'm going to go back to the settings screen. And the next thing that matters on this is the accessibility down here. This is where you can change it to have closed captioning for visually impaired and hearing impaired. It allows different options, voice to text and that kind of thing. So if you have a special needs person who is using this, you can use those accessibility options. The next thing that matters is the device options. Now, this is where you can change your device's language into a different language besides English. You can also change your keyboard settings here to be light or dark keyboard. It's going to ask you if you want to access your contacts for the keyboard. I always say deny. Right here under theme, you can change it from dark to light. I'll show you what the keyboard looks like if you haven't paid attention to it yet. It's right here. If you want to change your device name, you also may do that. And you see the keyboard is dark here. And if you would like to change it to the light keyboard, come back to the current keyboard settings, and I'm going to have it, don't ask me that again. I don't necessarily need them to access my contacts. You can change the keyboard to light, and then let's go back and look at it. Change your device name. It is a light keyboard. If you'd rather have that light keyboard, it's easier to see, you can keep it that way. And you can change your device name if you want. Everything else in here doesn't really matter to us too much for the device options. And the last thing that does matter in settings is this help tab right here. This help button, you have the entire user guide right here at your disposal. There's help videos. I don't know if this contact us will really work for us on this because it's registered through our school, but here's a lot of help options for you. And again, back button can take us back to the settings, and the circle button can take us back to the home screen. On this home screen, there are lots of things on here that don't really matter to us in kindergarten. A lot of these things we do not have access to due to parental controls. And the one thing that does matter to us is clicking on this library button in this corner here. And if your device is new, nothing is downloaded. You will see these little yellow or orange arrows that will show that you can download any of the apps that are on this screen. This device should be preloaded with apps. If you have a device that has no apps on it, it needs to come back to school so that we can preload it with all of these apps. Your parental controls do not allow you to download your own apps on here. So I have downloaded the apps that really matter to us in kindergarten, and there's not that many that are on here that we are currently using, but I am using ABC Games, Class Dojo. You can log in with your email. PBS Kids, Starfall, there are 3. All 3 of them work pretty well on this device. Teach Your Monster to Read if your teacher has you signed up for that. And the very, very bottom, this is My Mail. You can log into your student's email using this My Mail app. So I've downloaded all of those apps. And once you've downloaded those apps, you can see them on your home page. You will see them as an app icon on the home page. So then you can access each app just clicking on it, and we'll access Class Dojo because this is the way we communicate through kindergarten. And you can just press the I'm a parent and I already have an account, and then log in using your email and password that you use for Class Dojo. If you forgot, there's an I forgot my password button. Go back to the home page. All of these work. The Teach Your Monster to Read, I want to show you. If your teacher is using this and using a star code, A lot of the apps open sideways also, so you will turn your device sideways to use them. On the Teacher to Monster to Read app, there's a settings button right here, and you enter your year of birth. If you're an adult, you enter your actual year of birth, and it will show you where you can set your classroom star code to already be logged in with that star code. And so I did set my classroom on this one. And so then when you're logging in, you can just type your player name, which is in my classroom, your first name. And I'm going to log in for Mariah. And you'll see that it logs right into Mariah's Teacher Monster to Read. When you're in an app and you want to get out of an app, simply slide up so you can see the triangle, circle, and square at the bottom. Click that circle and it'll go back to the home page. And then you can choose another app. Now, because I've opened a couple apps, you can click the square and it'll show you the few apps that I have open. And if you'd like to close out of them, you can click the X and it'll close them. We don't necessarily need to be in the App Store anymore. Going back to the apps, the way to access the internet browser, that is a very important tool because some of the things we use in our classroom, specifically Google Classroom, is not available as an app on here. So we are going to access using this Amazon browser. It's called the Silk browser. If you didn't see that, let's go back. Green button on the app page. It's the first top left button. Silk browser is what it's called. You will open it and you will see an internet browser. On here, to access Google Classroom, I typed in the words Google Classroom and it took me to a search page that shows me where I can access the Google Classroom. I'm going to click on the link, and then this is where you would log in using your student's Gmail account, logging in using their Gmail that was given to you and their password, and then you will be able to see the Google Classroom. I'm going to log into my Google Classroom so that you can see how easily it is to access all the links that are in there. So I'm going to log in really quick, and it's easy for me to bring this down to my lap to do this. So if you'll just give me a moment, thank you. And making sure you know this button means enter. That's a little arrow right there. Now I'm going to enter my password. Making sure you capitalize when you need to capitalize, using the symbols button when you need to, and again, this is the enter button. Oh, and I entered the wrong password. Oh, that's funny. Let's try that again. Now it should work. We're logging into my teacher Google Classroom account, but you will be able to see all of my friends' kindergarten accounts. So I'm going to log into our classroom, Mrs. Heath Kinders. And in here you will see, this is our front page, the streaming page, where you'll see my messages and our conversations back and forth. You want to click on the classwork tab, and on here, you're going to see all the links to being able to, as I'm moving things around, all the links to being able to access things in our classroom. And it's making me move things around while I'm doing it because I'm using my teacher code. So let's try to do this without moving things around. I will show you how to access my letter A videos. Click on letter A. You will see videos. Oh my goodness. You will see videos at the bottom. If it would let me stop moving things around. If I logged into a student account, it wouldn't let me move things around. Because I'm logged into my teacher account, every time I touch something, it's thinking it wants me to move it around because that's how I can do it on my teacher account. So I wanted to show you how you can access these videos because it's pretty easy. You can click on one of the links and it'll open as a video here. Then I'm going to click this open button at the top. And it's going to open in another tab that's going to open in YouTube. And we do have access to YouTube. I'm not going to use the app. But you can tap it to unmute it. And you can open it as a whole page right here. And then you can see it as an entire page, which is the best way to view this. Now again, I paused it. I need to go back to where I was. So I'm going to click the back button this time. And I was on a new tab with YouTube, so I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom page. And here we are in the app that I opened from my classroom. Let's go back to the classroom if it will let me. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can access an app that we use without moving it around too much. Here we go. If you wanted to access Epic, I'm going to click on the Epic, go down to the link, click on the link, and it's going to open again in a new tab using the link that was given. And you're going to enter our class code. If you don't remember the class code, click on the classroom again. It'll say our class code, PKR8267. Type that in, PKR8267. Enter. There it is, Mrs. Heath's class. It's now going to show me all of our little character icons, and you can log in to your student's account. Now remember, in Epic, I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom because if I'm remembering right, oh no, this is the one that doesn't have a password. I do have another app that has a password, and so if there's ever a password required, come back to the classroom to see what the password is. I will have it listed. But in Epic, you should be able to just access your little guy and begin reading. And then again, you can access Splash Learn and teach your monster to read. And you can also access our website for the apps such as Starfall and ABC. You can actually go to the websites from this browser. So here's an example of how you would do Splash Learn. I typed in splashlearn.com because that's the one I wanted to find. And I can click on the link. And here you do sign in and make sure you're logging in as a student. And then you're going to enter the class code, which again was in our Google Classroom. So you'd have to have that ready to go so you can type that in. I'm going to go to the back button here. And if you didn't remember, you can go back to the Google Classroom and find it in the Splash Learn area. And I believe it's under Math Online for Splash Learn. You can also access things like Happy Numbers by going right to the website from clicking the link. So using the internet browser is a really helpful way for us to be able to access everything that you need for your teacher and what they are assigning for you, especially in the Google Classroom. You should be able to click on any of the links that your teacher has given you within their Google Classroom. You can usually easily find things in here. I see this menu keeps going down. As soon as I scroll down, the menu comes down, and as soon as I scroll up, the menu goes up. But you'll be able to access the YouTube read alouds. You will be able to use the online versions of Starfall and ABC on here. You can access PBS Kids. And you can also access the PDF files that show printable worksheets as well as the choice boards. You will also be able to see the daily schedules on here. So the internet browser is probably my favorite thing to be able to use on here. I feel like it's really a helpful tool for us. I'm going to go back to the home screen. And again, you can hold your device this way to use it and turn it this way to use it again. I'm hoping you're finding this device a little bit easier to use after using this with me. Please make sure that if you have any more questions, you reach out to your teacher. We are more than willing to try to help you figure these devices out, and we want to make things user-friendly for you. So I hope you found this helpful. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.